In today's episode, I'm going to talk about two principles that you should always keep in mind every time that you actually get stuck when you are animating. It happens a lot. We kind of lose inspiration, or some external thing that is happening in your life is kind of sucking all your creativity away. So we're going to talk about two things that you can do every single time that will hopefully get you unstuck and get you moving forward to make sure that you achieve your dreams as fast as you can. Let's get started with another episode. BC for the pine trees, no kind please, on the lakefront with the mountain view is behind me. So these two principles that I'm talking about revolve around the idea that life is a maze, full of obstacles, full of closed doors or closed paths that you want to go through but you can't, so you have to kind of turn around, come back and find another way forward. Eventually you do, and then you're happy. But soon enough, again, it happens that you find a place of no-go and then you have to turn around and do it again. Are you going to stop researching and looking forward and moving forward on your maze? Or are you going to actually keep on discovering and trying to find ways around that you finally get to your dream, to the place that you want to be? So next, I'm going to talk about the idea of everything meaningful in life is a maze. Let's do it. Well, the first thing that I'm going to break down here is the idea of appreciating your work and working your way all the way to the top. And that is like genuinely taking in the job of animation, the work as an animator, and really appreciating how lucky you are to be animating, right? To be an animator. Even if you're not working professionally right now, how lucky you are to actually be an animator or wanting to be an animator. So think about yourself as this animator that is the ultimate animator, working in films or working in games or whatever you actually decide that you want to work on, and then just work your way to actually get there. Think about it, project it, and be there. The second thing is basically thinking about the fact that every time you actually hit a wall, once again, a maze, right? Every time you actually hit an impediment, you are actually going to be a better person because of it. This will teach you something, that wall, right? So once again, going back to the analogy of life being a maze, you seeing enough walls or you seeing enough impediments in your way will teach you how to actually get away from those impediments and navigate the maze better, right? So think about that next time that you actually get to a place that you don't want to be and it feels like a wall. Just think about it. I just have to back up a little bit, find another way, and I'm sure I'm going to learn from this at a later point. Now, this third point in this first principle is very important. Perhaps you've been working on your animation skills, on your show reel for a long time, on your art form, and no one is hiring you. It's okay to be discouraged. It's okay to put things aside for a little bit and be like, you know what, I really can't think about this. I really cannot animate anymore. I just feel exhausted. Let me just take some time off because I really don't feel it right now. That's cool. Then whenever you're ready, come back to it. So it's okay to be discouraged, but to just quit and actually kind of call it quits when that's your true dream, no matter what else you would do, nothing would fulfill you as much as animation. That is not cool, because that will make you a very grumpy old man or woman later on in life, because you'll always be thinking about what if. So don't do that. Don't quit. Be discouraged as many times as you need to in order to actually kind of carry on, but don't really quit your dream of animation. And the last point that I want to make here on the first principle is that even when you're mentally ready for change, let's say that you're pumped and you're mentally ready for change, you're mentally ready to actually tackle a new challenge in your life, right? Like something really, really scary, like starting a new job, or perhaps like working with someone that you look up to quite a lot, or working in a movie that you actually always wanted to work on, or working in a game with your idols, like that you've been thinking about for a long time. That is really scary. So even though you are actually really, really ready to actually do it, you will still feel fear to do whatever you actually set your mind to it. But that shouldn't really stop you from doing it. Embrace it. That fear is something incredibly healthy. And the sooner you get used to that fear and you just feel like, oh, okay, so I feel fearful of this new step of my journey because it's going to be really difficult to do, and I'm going to find challenges that I haven't found before, but those challenges will make me a better person, a better animator. That is a win. You should definitely embrace those things. So second principle here, a big topic that we're going to break down into smaller chunks, is that there is no signs to where to go in life, right? Everyone should know this. It's just a big open maze of infinite options that you can go anywhere, however you want it, in whatever way you want it. So let me break it down for you guys a little bit more about exactly what I mean. So to quote Oliver Emberton, there are only two ways to advance in life. Move forward when you can, or step backwards and try something else when you can't. The greatest mistake to make is standing still. So thinking about your life in general, and this kind of touches upon some of these subjects that were mentioned before, freezing and doing nothing whenever you actually really want to achieve something becomes a no-no. It becomes something that you cannot do. No matter how paralyzed, no matter how sad, no matter how angry, no matter how frustrated you feel, no matter how many times you want to quit and just be like throw and flip a table, I just can't take this anymore. Make sure that you find a way to actually either find another way, go backwards, take a few steps backwards, all good, or move forward and say, I cannot do this anymore. Let me find another way forward that I can actually proceed and do something else. So don't stay still. Don't actually just flip a table and then just say, I'm not going to do anything about it. Find a way forward, because that's the best way for you to actually achieve your dream, achieve your goal, and keep on moving. Now, a maze is full of choices, is full of challenges, full of questions that are unanswered. And therefore, when you're traveling through your maze, make sure to keep your mind open, make sure to keep curious, make sure to always question things as you go along this journey, because it's the best way for you to find answers. So this is the best way for you to allow external factors coming into your life, into your maze as you travel through life. Those external factors and questions and information, that stuff is going to be the stuff that you can perceive as signs to where you need to go. Sometimes you meet people that are inspiring, sometimes you actually go through situations that you hate. Sometimes you meet people that you don't want to be like. All those experiences will combine inside of you and will blend with the person that you are, and therefore will give you answers to your questions that you had as you traverse your maze, right? Being curious, asking questions, that becomes you in the end, right? So then it becomes, you are a pro at traveling this maze, or you still stumble after 40 years of traveling this maze. That is no good, right? So this is why maintaining curiosity, asking questions, and making sure that you actually get your answers right and you internalize them as best as you can is definitely a plus. Don't get too comfortable. That is yet another thing that I think is very important. We want to be comfortable as we can for as long as we can, because we know we're safe that way, right? I think it's normal for everybody, because the world is scary. So if I actually stay around here, I know this, therefore I don't have to go off to the world and just discover and having the unknowns. That stuff is horrible. It isn't, and it should be. You should always kind of like keep yourself guessing, right? Like get out of your comfort zone, no matter what you're doing. Even when you actually feel like you're doing animation or you're actually working at a very high level, even then, make sure you get out of your comfort zone. I try to do that as much as I can, because it's only when you're off balance that you can actually learn new things that you can internalize and keep growing. At some point in your life, if it hasn't happened already, you're gonna hit a snag, you're gonna hit a place that you feel very comfortable, and that place should scare you more than make you feel good about yourself, because the more you are in that place, the more you lose in time, and it's time that you could be learning something else, and it's time that you could be like in a place that perhaps makes you slightly more scared or slightly more uncomfortable, but at the same time it will give you more tooling for your career as an animator. A lot of the animators that I know that are incredibly experienced, they are really good at what they do because they have seen a lot of things and they met a lot of people and worked in different studios. They know exactly what they want because they have experienced good and bad, and therefore they know that having this position that you feel off balance is where you should be, and you shouldn't take things for granted. You should always be thankful, always be good with others. The thing that I actually think that also in this second principle matters most is becoming a master of starting over. Animation is something that, as you guys know, takes a lot of time to actually kind of perfect. It's very easy for you to get attached to your shots, attached to your animations, and starting over and actually kind of throwing that in the bin and saying, this is not good enough, I'm going to start over again instead of working through it, definitely a great thing. When you become a master of starting over and over again, then it means that you're not scared of actually starting over. Those shots that you actually threw away early on as you were animating because you knew it was not good enough and you decided to do them better, when you start working professionally and your lead, supervisor, director tells you this is rubbish, throw it away, start over again, you're not going to take it personally because you're used to this. This is normal. Animation is an art form. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's rubbish. Doesn't matter how it is, throw it away, start over again, show to your lead, show it to your supervisor, your director that you have creative ideas that expand further than one shot, right? You can give them something else that is cool. Same thing in life. When you actually hit a snag, when you hit an obstacle that you don't like or something negative, then you can just go like, I just throw it over my shoulder, I'm gonna start over again, and you know what? I have better things to do with my life right now. So start over, do your thing, brush your shoulder, and it's all good. So this, once again, as I keep saying in some of my videos, is things that I actually have learned through time, and some things that have helped me so much. So these two things, principles, is stuff that I actually try to kind of keep up with myself all the time. And sometimes you kind of definitely, I get tripped up sometimes, and you get kind of caught up in this one of these things, the opposite of the stuff that I just mentioned, and then the next thing you know, it's been 2 weeks or a month, and you're like, why am I doing this? Like, I should know better, and I need to actually kind of just surpass this, or get unstuck, or like, you know, make myself a little bit more uncomfortable by actually kind of trying something new, right? All of those things are things that will happen on and off in your life, and it's impossible for us to be perfect and actually get every single of these steps perfect, but we can try. And this is what I try to do with my life, right? All these points that I mentioned, these two principles that I mentioned, life is a maze that you need to navigate as best as you can. If I trip up, basically I'm stuck in the maze right now and I don't know where to go. I should not stay still. I should actually kind of either go back, go forward, do something that actually gets me off. Doesn't matter if it's a job that I don't like and I need to change jobs, or doesn't matter if it's an animation that I'm working right now and it's really not working. Whatever it is, I hope this advice helps you, and I hope you actually understand the analogy of this life being a maze. And that's all I had for you guys. As always, stay well, stay safe, and until next week, peace.